You know the brand Patagonia, right? They're famous for their love of the outdoors, for being the company that literally told its customers, don't buy this jacket. But what happens when the very thing that makes their best gear work is also poisoning the planet they swear to protect? Yeah, that's Patagonia's impossible problem.
Okay, so this quote right here from the founder, Yvon Chouinard, this is everything. It's the bedrock of the entire company. The planet comes first, period. Because, without it, there's no business to be done. This single idea has guided them for decades, but it also put them on a collision course with their own products.
Here's the catch. To make those world-class waterproof jackets, the gear that you rely on to keep you alive in some gnarly conditions, Patagonia was using a chemical treatment that was leaving a toxic and permanent scar on the environment.
The secret is a coating called Durable Water Repellent, or DWR. It's the magic that makes water just bead up and roll right off your jacket. And for ages, the absolute gold standard for DWR was made from these things called perfluorinated compounds, PFCs for short. The problem? PFCs are what scientists call persistent. That means they don't break down, like ever. They just build up in the environment, in animals, and in us.
And look, this isn't just some theory in a lab. A Greenpeace study actually went out and found these exact same chemicals in super remote, high-altitude mountain lakes. We're talking about the very places Patagonia's customers dream of. So the chemicals from the jackets were ending up in the wilderness the jackets were made to help you explore. The irony is just staggering.
So you can see where this is going, right? This created a huge crisis inside the company. It basically put the two halves of their own mission statement at war with each other.
The conflict was crystal clear. On one side, you have their promise to build the best product. That means high performance, extreme durability, gear that lasts forever. But on the other side, you've got cause no unnecessary harm, which demands non-toxic chemicals and protecting the environment. The PFCs that made their jackets the best were a total and complete disaster for the cause no harm part of their mission.
And that's the impossible problem. I mean, what do you do when your core identity is at war with itself? Which side wins? Do you compromise the quality of the gear that made you famous, or do you compromise the values that your entire company was built on?
Well, Patagonia's first move, it wasn't a perfect solution. Not by a long shot. It was a trade-off, really. An attempt to find a less bad path forward while they figured things out.
So they switched from a long-chain chemical, called C8, to a short-chain one called C6. The old C8 stuff was amazing at repelling water, but its byproduct is super toxic, and again, it never breaks down. The new C6 was less toxic, sure, but it came with a massive trade-off. It just didn't work as well. The waterproofing wasn't nearly as durable. And this created a whole new headache. If jackets wear out faster, people just buy new ones more often, which means more manufacturing, more shipping, more waste, a whole different environmental footprint.
Realizing that this compromise just wasn't going to cut it, Patagonia decided they couldn't just find a less bad chemical. No, they needed to fund a full-blown revolution in chemistry itself.
So they put their money where their mouth is. Through their venture fund, called $20 million and change, they invested over $1 million into a small Swiss startup called Beyond Surface Technologies. Their whole mission? Create a high-performance, totally PFC-free water repellent from natural stuff, like plant seed oils. It's incredibly promising work, but that perfect, durable replacement, it's still just out of reach.
This led Patagonia to their most ambitious strategy yet. I mean, if you can't invent the perfect chemical, what if you could get rid of the chemical altogether?
Their blue sky innovation team started exploring a truly radical idea called biomimicry. Instead of trying to invent something totally new, they started looking to nature for a solution that's been around for millions of years.
I mean, think about it. Nature has had water repellency figured out for eons. The way water just rolls off a lotus leaf or the feathers of a duck, that's not a chemical spray. It's all about the physical structure, the texture. So Patagonia started studying these surfaces to see if they could actually recreate that structure on their fabrics, creating waterproofness without any chemical additives at all.
But okay, let's just imagine they do it. They invent a perfect, nature-inspired solution. Problem solved, right? Well, not quite. They face one final, enormous hurdle.
For all its influence, Patagonia is actually a pretty small fish in a giant pond. Check this out. At the time, their revenue was around $600 million. Competitors like the North Face and Columbia, they're pulling in over $2 billion. They're 3 to 4 times bigger. They just sell way more jackets. So even a perfect solution from Patagonia is just a drop in the bucket. To really solve the global pollution problem from these PFCs, the entire outdoor industry has to change.
This leads to their most radical move of all. They plan to open source their breakthrough, to literally give the technology away for free, even to their biggest competitors. The goal isn't to win the market, it's to change the market. But this reveals the final massive challenge. New, green technology almost always costs more. And trying to convince huge, profit-driven companies to adopt a more expensive way of doing things, that is the hardest part of this whole puzzle.
And that leaves all of us with the ultimate question, one that goes way beyond just Patagonia. When doing the right thing costs more, who foots the bill? Should companies take the hit to their profits? Or does the responsibility fall on us, the customers, to be willing to pay more for a product that helps protect the planet? It's a tough question we all have to answer.